Namaste, everyone, and welcome back to the Ramayana Odyssey Podcast. In this podcast, we journey through the Ramayana one story at a time. We listen to the story, and then we pause to reflect on its deeper meanings. And from time to time, we also have the blessing of learning from revered teachers who help us see this great scripture through a deeper lens. And today's episode is truly very special for me. It is truly a blessing and a privilege to have the opportunity to speak with Pujya Swami Chidananda Puri ji of Advaita Ashram of Kozhikode, Kerala, India. Swamiji is one of the most respected teachers of our time, known for offering authentic Vedantic teachings fully based on pramāṇa, the scriptural means of knowledge. And what I find so personally beautiful in Swamiji's teachings is the clarity and the logic and the way that deep truths are unfolded in a manner that's both rigorous and deeply transformative in nature. For us in the Ramayana Odyssey project, Swamiji's lectures on the Ramayana have been one of the key sources of inspiration for us. We've often returned to his insights while thinking through the spirit, subtlety, and vision of the scripture. So for me personally, this conversation is very, very special because today I have the blessing of speaking with Swamiji about the scripture that is personally most dearest to me, the Ramayana, and about Rama, who's so deeply loved and dear to my heart. Namaste, Swamiji. Hari Om.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for blessing us with your time and guidance today. So, Swamiji, in our journey so far, we've covered the first few stories of the Ramayana. So we went over the transformation of Ratnakara into Maharshi Valmiki ji, and then Valmiki's question to Narada ji about the ideal human being, and the profound Ma-nishada moment where poetry itself is born. So as we reflected on these stories, many deeper questions came up for us about the Ramayana, Vedanta, Dharma, and simply the subtle way these scriptures unfold. So with your permission, I'd love to place some of these questions before you. And to start off, Swamiji, it's often said that the Vedas reveal the vision of Dharma and that the Ramayana shows us Dharma lived out through real human life. So could you help us understand this connection a bit more clearly?
See, actually, Ramayana is basically an itihasa. And first of all, we have to understand what an itihasa is. So, basically, itihasas and Puranas, both are text, scriptures, having second authority, that is Akshara Vedas, and they are for explaining the concept of Veda to the common people. As well said in the Mahabharata itself, Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Samupabhrahmayet. You have to explain Veda through Itihasas and Puranas. So, what's the difference between the Itihasa and Purana? In Purana, so many stories are taken, and with the use of such stories, Veda Vyasa is explaining the message of Veda, different messages of Veda. Whereas in Itihasas, of course, in Itihasas, so many stories are there, but basically, Itihasas are not stories. They are many parts taken from history. That is, history spread in those times. So that is the first difference between Purana and Itihasa. Puranas are mainly stories for the sake of explaining the teachings of Veda, whereas Itihasas, they are life stories, that is histories, lives of great people to explain Vedas. So when we take Ramayana as an Itihasa, it is to explain to the common people what Dharma is. It is an explanation of Dharma. For explaining or discussing different aspects of Dharma, many lives, life of Rama, life of Sita, life of Lakshmana, life of Ravana, so many personalities or individualities were taken And through that, Dharma is explained. So you cannot say it is a text of Vedanta. Ramayana is not a text of Vedanta. Because in the Valmiki Ramayana, no Vedanta is discussed at all. There is no teachings of Vedanta in Valmiki Ramayana. It is a text of Dharma. But in later days, so many Ramayanas came. That means, seeing the greatness of the Itihasa Ramayana, Bhagavan Vedavyasa in almost all the Puranas repeated the Ramayana in his own words. As a part of that, there is a part which is called Adhyatma Ramayana, and that is included in the Uttara Khanda of Brahmanda Purana. So that is actually a text of Dharma, at the same time a text of Vedanta. It's an explanation of Vedanta also. So in Adhyatma Ramayana we can see it as a treatise of on Vedanta. At the same time, explanation of Dharma also. Whereas Itihasa Ramayana, it is just explaining what Dharma is. Now, one more explanation is required. See, the Veda teaches to the world, Dharmam Chara, Satyam Vada, Swadhyayanma Pramada, the basic teachings of Dharma. Now, the meaning of Dharmam Chara is you have to follow in your life what is Dharma. You follow Dharma. That is the teaching of meaning of Dharmam Chara. So speaking or teaching that is an easy affair. You can speak, you can explain hours and hours, but in practical life, it is not that much easy. Observing Dharma is not that much easy in practical life because we are in life so many situations through which we are going through. In each and every situation, we have to find out what our Dharma is. And even if we find out what my Dharma is, it is not easy to follow that. So, what Valmiki in his Ramayana Odyssey, he explains this with the help of the life story of Bhagavan Sri Rama, who always followed Dharma, whichever be the situation, in all circumstances, faced boldly and always followed Dharma. And on the other side, there are the lives of many others like Ravana who couldn't do that and failed. So, the two aspects of following Dharma is well explained. One seeker or one student who go through the Ramayana can clearly understand how to, in a given situation, what will happen if I am not observing Dharma, like that.
Your explanation was absolutely beautiful. And this is one of my favorite parts of our tradition. In modern psychology, in my classes, we've learned a lot about how you need an example to best learn something. And I think
Yeah.
you explained that perfectly with Rama, with the Ramayana and the connection to Dharma. So thank you so much, Swamiji. My next question is, in our tradition, Rama is loved as Bhagavan, but he's also presented as the ideal human being. So how should we
Yeah.
begin to understand this combination? So is Rama only a historical divine figure, or does he represent something deeper for the seeker themselves?
See, those who are the very embodiment of high values like Satya, Dharma, and all, we respect them as the very personification or very embodiment of Ishvara. In that sense, Rama was the embodiment of Dharma. This I'm saying from the standpoint of Valmiki Ramayana. The Valmiki Ramayana, you are seeing a life which is the very manifestation or very embodiment of Dharma itself. That is why it is said in the Valmiki Ramayana, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. That means Rama is the very embodiment of Dharma. What Dharma is, you have to learn from the life of Rama. Now, coming to Adhyatma Ramayana. In Adhyatma Ramayana, the life of Rama is portrayed as an incarnation of Bhagavan. Of course, in the Valmiki Ramayana also, in 3 or 4 occasions, is undoubtedly explained that Bhagavan incarnated as Sri Rama for the protection of Dharma. But Valmiki didn't elaborate that divine aspect of Rama. Of course, in 4 or 5 occasions, Valmiki clearly said Sri Rama is the incarnation of Bhagavan Mahavishnu. Without any doubt, he said that. But at the same time, Valmiki wrote Ramayana in such a way as Sri Rama will be a role model for the human society. We must have an icon. We must have a role model. So as a role model, Ramayana is presented before us by Valmiki, and therefore the human aspect is more explained there. Whereas in the Adhyatma Ramayana, along with that, the divine aspect, that is, Sri Rama is the incarnation of Mahavishnu. That is the thread of Adhyatma Ramayana. So, to understand these two, there is no contradiction at all. In our philosophy, is not somebody who is sitting in heaven, away from you, and controlling the whole world. No. Ishvara is within you. Ishvara is without you. Ishvara is among you. Ishvara is in the society. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Yadyad vibhuti matsattvam srimad urjidameva va tattadevavagachatvam mama tejomsha sambhavam. That means, whatever you are seeing, vibhuti mat, that is some manifestation having greatness, urjidam, that much energetic, that you understand to be your manifestation. That is that Ishvara is more effectively manifested in those beings. You understand that? So Ishvara is not somebody who is sitting in heaven and commanding. No, that is not our concept. So in Rama, we are seeing the very, very embodiment of Dharma, and for protecting Dharma, he came. Therefore, we are worshipping Rama as Ishvara. That is from our side. And from the higher side, Bhagavan, to protect or to bring back the equilibrium much needed for the sustenance of the universe. What type of equilibrium? That between Dharma, Devi, and Asuri Sampad. See, there are 2 types of forces in each and every individual, in each and every society, in every nation, and the world at large. There are 2 types of, one Ishwar Devi, the other is Asuri. So there is a balance between these 2. When that equilibrium is lost, the very sustenance of the world will be in danger. So whenever that happens, there will be some mechanism to regain that. And that mechanism or that power which is coming to regain that equilibrium is Avadara. That is Avadara. So Bhagavan Sri Rama came to regain that. You got that idea? So we are worshipping Rama as Ishvara. From another point, we are worshipping Rama as the very embodiment of Dharma. In 2 ways it is possible.
I think that was an absolutely incredible explanation again, Swamiji. I very much always thought that seeing Rama as a human helps initially bring people closer to Ishvara as a whole because it is easier to relate to a human. And then once they further their studies, they can begin to look at Rama as a avatar of Bhagavan as well. So I really, really enjoyed that explanation.
Yeah.
So, Swamiji, the Ramayana begins with Maharshi Valmiki's question to Maharshi Narada about the ideal human being. So, clearly, Valmiki sees in Narada the ideal teacher for such a complex question. But in the modern world, many people have a very superficial understanding of Narada, and they often view him as a more negative character. So, could you help us understand the true role and greatness of Maharshi Narada in our tradition?
See, the greatness of Narada, we cannot explain in words because he transcends the capacity of our speech. For example, in the Veda we can see Narada. In the Veda itself, we can see Narada. For example, in Chandogya Upanishad, you can see Narada as a student of Sanat Kumara who is approaching the great sage Sanat Kumara in search of the ultimate knowledge or ultimate wisdom. So, after getting instruction from Sanat Kumara, Narada became that much enlightened that we can see in the Chandogya Upanishad. Then, in the name of Narada, there is one Upanishad itself. In the name of Narada, there is one Upanishad. That Upanishad is Narada Parivrajaka Upanishad. Narada Parivrajaka Upanishad. That is in the name of Narada. See, Upanishad in the name of one sage. So see that greatness. And go to Itihasas and Puranas. We have 2 Itihasas and 18 Mahapuranas. All these are to explain Vedas or are explaining Vedas. In all these, we can see only one person. Of course, many are in many, but in all Puranas and Itihasas, there is only one person, and that is the great Devarshi Narada. And he was a great teacher of music. And in his name, there is a Sangeeta Shastra in the name of Narada. Sangeeta Shastra. And you can see in the Puranas, like Bhagavata, Narada was the teacher. And Ramayana also, Valmiki asked Narada, who is a role model for this society in terms of Dharma. Why? Narada was Narada. Who is Narada? Naram Dadaditi Narada. Naram Dadaditi Narada. The meaning is Naram, there are different meanings for one is the humanity, the another is ultimate knowledge. Naram Paravidya. So Naram Dadadi, one who is giving that ultimate knowledge to the society is called Narada. See, so he was the greatest teacher of the humanity. And when we come to Puranas, there is one Purana in the name of Narada. That is Narada Mahapuranam or Brihad Naradiya Mahapurana. Both are one. So, one Purana is dedicated in the name of Narada. And all Puranas, all Idihasas contain the teachings of Narada. And Narada, without any restriction, he could go everywhere. And therefore, Bhagavan in the Gita says, Devarshi Namcha Narada. I am Narada among the Devarshis. That is the greatest Devarshi is Narada. So such a great sage, Narada, the very personification of wisdom and knowledge, that was he. And it was because of that, even after knowing many sages, Valmiki did ask this question to them. But when he met Narada, he asked this question. And that is the beginning point of Valmiki Ramayana. And it is a tapaswadhyaya niradam. That is the first epithet given to Narada. Tapaswadhyaya niradam. Then Vagvidambaram. Tapaswadhyaya niradam means one who is well established in tapas and swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is studies. So in tapas and swadhyaya he was well established. Then the second is Vagvidambara, the greatest among the nobles of Vak, speech. That means the verbal meaning and the indicator, how to use words correctly. So he was the greatest proponent of Shabda Shastra, Narada. So that was the greatness of that. Ask our friends to learn. Studying, we must have the knowledge from the source. If you are studying physics, you must not get that knowledge from newspapers. You must get from the textbooks of physics and from scientists, physicists. That is the source. All the knowledge must come from the source.
Thank you so much, Swamiji, for explaining that.
Namaste.
This conversation for me personally has been so special because I have grown up with the Ramayana at my side and it's always been so important.
Very good, very good. And to hear from a student like you, especially who is living in this, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up.
And I'm so grateful that our listeners are able to get this wisdom from you as well. So to our listeners, thank you so much for being with us in this episode. We hope this conversation helps you approach the Ramayana not just as a beautiful story from the past, but rather as a living source of guidance, self-understanding, and inner growth. So if you did find this episode meaningful, please do share your thoughts with us in the comments. And please share this episode to others that might benefit for it. And you can follow the Ramayana Odyssey podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And if this journey is meaningful to you, please help us take the message of the Ramayana to more seekers. And until next time, let's keep listening deeply, reflecting sincerely, and keep walking this